We're back on the air. This is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and I want to thank all our listeners and also our hosts for this whole group of segments. It's For the Record. That means it's our Radio Entrepreneurs legal show. That means I'm being hosted by the law firm of Tarlow Breed Hart Rodgers, and my co-host is Mark Furman from the law firm.
Jeffrey, great to be with you.
Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it. We appreciate the hospitality of your law firm, and also from Mark Z Legal Staffing, who also helps sponsor the show. Our next guest is Paul Holtzman from Krokitis, sounds Greek.
It is.
Krokitis and Bluestein, and we're going to talk about pay equity, Pregnant Workers Act, and I think a little bit about Harvey Weinstein. Correct?
Rather timely and important for businesses to think about what it's far away in the West Coast, but it's going to have a lot of ripple effects here, I think.
Why don't we start by just getting a little bit of your background?
Sure. So I've been practicing since 1987. I do predominantly employment law, both sides, on behalf of employees as well as employers, and that includes both discrimination cases as well as a lot of wage and hour work. In the last 5 or 6 years now, I've started to work a lot as a neutral. So I work as a mediator to assist other lawyers in resolving cases, particularly employment cases. And I've also recently joined the American Arbitration Association employment law panel for arbitrators. So I'm doing work as a neutral, both as an arbitrator and as a mediator. And in employment law, a lot of the work is preventive, so we do a lot of trainings. We help companies put together handbooks and policies. And relevant to Mr. Weinstein and what's going on with Miramax, we also do a lot of internal investigations. So when issues come up, complaints, whether it's discrimination or harassment or unequal pay, will often come in as an outside investigator to help the company get the facts and to decide what to do with those facts once they nail them down. So that's my background. I've been with Krokitis and Bluestein for about 25, 26 years, and the firm does a lot of work, including general litigation, a lot of work with nonprofits in the human service sector, a lot of work with small businesses as well, both corporate and litigation.
Wow. Well, why don't we start with the most topical subject, and then we'll get into more substantive issues.
Sure.
The whole Harvey Weinstein sexual harassment thing, because this is probably, I always believe this is like that, what they say, the duck that looks calm above the water, and under the water the feet are sort of flapping away.
Exactly.
How many thousands of Harvey Weinsteins are out there in the world that are still thinking today,
Right.
I'm safe?
Right, and this is a question that came up after the Anita Hill hearings with the allegations against Clarence Thomas when he was up for the Supreme Court nomination, and sort of surfaced these discussions about sexual harassment in the workplace. What we're seeing with Weinstein is a pattern. I think his conduct is probably off the charts in terms of the severity and the repetition and the pervasiveness of what he was doing. But as you say, I think there are a lot of sort of lower order cases of a similar nature that are out there, and it has to do with power. It has to do with a lack of accountability, and particularly it has to do with a lack of leadership from whether it's a board or ownership of a company. What happened here, we're now learning, is that there were many warning signs, and they were rather blatant. Once a company has paid out a number of settlements of the magnitude that we're talking about here, there's no question they were on notice. They knew what was going on. Their decision was a fateful one, and I think a short-sighted one, which was to try to sweep it under the rug, hope it wouldn't happen again. If it did, we'll just pay off the next one. The problem with that is that the company is going to take the hit. They're going to be responsible for the next case and the next case, and now I think we're going to see dozens of allegations against Weinstein and against the company for his failure to address it and to stop it. And that's really the basics of the law here, right? Once a manager, a supervisor, an owner, a board member learns of this kind of conduct, their obligation is very clear. They have to investigate it, they have to determine the facts, and if they find there's something there, they need to take sufficient action to stop it, to make sure it doesn't recur. And paying off one after another, and winking and nodding and letting the conduct continue, and sending the signal to Weinstein that we're not going to do anything about it, that's where they get in trouble as a company, and that's what we see a lot.